Alright guys, so yeah, tipping back both of these seats by 1 notch makes a huge difference in how comfortable it is. Huge. So, first little modification's done. Get the lighted whips on, which, you know, I guess is a modification. Just kind of give a walk around. It's 22, Turbo R, Ultimate. Comes with the live valve DV. 32-inch tires, 15-inch rims. It's got a unitized hub. So it's basically like all the newer pickups and cars and whatever, where instead of pressing a bearing in, you'll actually take out the whole assembly with the brake rod and everything and replace the whole piece. The shock fork goes over the axle. All boxed arms. 3-inch Fox. Again, they're live valves. Bigger radiator, and I'm speaking on, you know, basically what the differences are versus the XP. Bigger radiator and intercooler. You can see how big that thing is. This bumper is different too. So on the regular Pros, it's just this little hoop and it bolts on here. This one's got this whole bracket system. So it's like a real bumper. The one that's on a Pro is, you know, basically useless. You can see it bolts in all these different spots. So, I mean, it ain't much of a bumper, but at least it is a bumper. This is a 5-lug. I think what else is different. So I tried to get a windshield and a back window, and the part numbers are all different. So they're saying they're not the same. The cage is different than the Pro. The doors I heard are the same. I think maybe some of the body work is the same. I would guess the headlights are the same. This comes with a roof, aluminum roof, which is kind of nice. Still has the goofy antenna kind of way out on the fender, like they weren't really sure what to do with it. 12-gallon fuel tank. It's got these real heavy-duty rock guards. Big old sway bar links. Everything's just bigger. It's got an updated water pump. I heard there's a few things on the motor that's updated from the Pro. I don't know exactly what they all are just yet, but I'll get there. This is only my first full day of ownership, so I'm trying to pick out all the different things. So here's the dual valve and the live valve portion. So compression and rebound. So now when you go on to your gauge, this has got the red and black seats. Flip her on here. Actually, it is on. So now, let's climb on here. So now on your steering wheel controls, I guess it's got to be on all the way. So you feel it just sink. Well, you probably didn't feel it, but I felt it. It actually sinks down when you turn it on, depending where you go. So you got comfort. You got track. You can see how it changes the compression and the rebound. You got rocks, which, you know, essentially is getting rid of the rebound and pushing the compression up. And then you got Baja, which is compression halfway, about halfway on the front. No rebound on the back. And then 3 bars of rebound in the rear. I'm sorry. Compression halfway down in the front, rebound at nothing in the front, and then this is the rears. Compression halfway, rebound 3 bars up. You get this, which is pretty cool. See how far you're tilted. And you can actually hear it changing and feel it changing, which is still kind of crazy to me. Otherwise, this mostly looks the same. You got your oh shit button, all your radio controls, your main gauge button. This is for the rest of your dynamic stuff. Got your blue lights kind of everywhere on the Ultimates. We got our Cosby's mirror. Yeah, she's pretty neat. So far, my impression of it is it's crazy insane how confident, and like I said, I only got just under 20 miles on it. It's just been basically breaking in the belt and getting an idea of what it does and doesn't do before I go crazy on it. But I want to get it up to that, at least that 40-mile range, have the belt broke in before I really smash on her too hard. We got a trip coming up in, not this weekend, next weekend. So that's my plan, is to get it all broken nice and gently and do a few things that I want to do to it. Just quick and easy things. And can sort of get used to it a little bit, I guess, before we go out. We're going to go to Michigan with it. So, but yeah, my first impression is really confident. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. Really confidence inspiring. I can drive over the side of our jumps in our little track out here. I don't know. I've never been able to do it with anything else that I've owned recently, other than maybe four-wheelers, which, you know, you can lay on the side of them and not have any issues. But you can drive this right up on its side, and you don't feel like you're going to tip. You see the suspension making changes. I've only just, you know, had it off the ground just a little bit, just to kind of tease it, I guess, to see what it would really do. But it's so smooth. In comfort mode, it's as smooth as my 4-door General, or my 2-door General for that matter. Obviously the power's up there pretty high. And then in the rest of them, you put it in track mode, and it feels like it would almost be hard to tip over. Obviously, I'm sure you can do it. People have probably done it already. But when you can just rip it right sideways in the grass, or out there on the track where it's all clay and hard ground, and it bites in and just goes. I'm not a huge fan of the way these tires look, but they seem like they work pretty good. I seen one guy on, I think it was YouTube, that was saying he only got like 700 miles or something like that, or 500 miles out of the stock set. So I'm not sure if he was doing some rock crawling or a lot of road riding or what, but they are soft, so we'll see how that works. Like I said, it's super comfortable. It feels to me like a regular Pro XP as far as power wise, which obviously you got most of the same drivetrain. Low gear is lower than a Pro, which you can immediately feel when you put it in low gear. It's quite low geared for 32s. I think they probably plan on people, you know, going 35s on it right away. I don't know that for sure. I know I've seen some people with different Pro Rs and Turbo Rs on 37s or even bigger. I don't think I plan on going quite that big, but I think probably 35s are in its future at some point. I'll burn these ones down. I don't mind these rims. Usually I'm a kind of guy that changes rims and tires pretty quickly. I think these ones look pretty nice. They got this little Razor logo on them. Just a kind of a plain 5-star wheel. 3-piston calipers. You can see all 3 of them there. 3-piston calipers, giant rotors. It stops. The only thing I can compare it to right now, I had a 2012 Razor Turbo S 800, and I think that was on 26-inch tires, I believe, Bighorns. And that thing would stop on a dime. I mean, it almost felt like you could do a stoppie with that. Now, granted, it was only 53 horsepower, so it wasn't a speed demon, but that's what I would compare the brakes to. Even though this thing weighs 2,000 pounds and it's on 32s, you mash the brakes, you're stopping like right now. It's crazy. It doesn't hardly even slide. It just stops. So I've ran it up, I don't know, real quick. I ran up to about 70. Just, you know, not really hammering on it too hard, but it'll go 70 pretty darn easy. And like I said, the brakes stop her down real fast. So we're gonna start doing some modifications. Once we get it broke in, we'll start testing some products, see what's out there, what works good. So if anybody has any ideas or has any things that they think we should try, send them my way. I'd be interested. I think we'll end up doing the wider flares in the front and back. I got a light bar, I got the whips on, probably change the grill, probably put a front bumper on it, front and back window, keep the dust from rolling in, I think. I don't know, I go back and forth. I like that free air feeling, but also I got peppered in the face a couple times. 2 weeks ago, I got stung right in my eyelid by a bee riding my four-wheeler, my Renegade. And I didn't enjoy that very much. Too old for that crap. I guess even if I was younger, it wouldn't matter. That sucked. So anyway, yeah, we got some mods coming. We're gonna do the RPM Big Fatty intake. We're gonna do all the silicone the RPM has, RPM blow-off valve. Probably end up doing a RPM E-valve header pipe. I did that on that last Pro XP Ultimate. That's a pretty sweet piece. All stainless steel. So I'll end up doing that. And from there, I'm sure we're gonna have to do some sort of tune. I used Aftermarket Assassins last time. Pretty darn happy with their stage 3 and stage 4. Clutching, I'm not sure about. Once I pull the cover off of it, I'm interested to see if they changed anything on the Turbo R versus the regular Pro XP. The 22.5 Pro XP, the black one that I had just built, I think the clutching was far and away better than the 21 that I just built previously. It just seems like the clutch held a lot more power. There was no belt slip at all. Even though I tuned it, I ran it just a little bit just to basically see how the clutch would react. And there was not an ounce of slip. Obviously, I put a clutch in it as well. HD primary from Aftermarket Assassins as well. So we're going to see, like I said, if this clutch is any different or if it's exactly the same. I guess I kind of figure it's the same, but they had to have done something in order to squeeze the same power with more weight and a bigger tire. Yeah, I mean, there has to be something that they did differently. So, or they put this clutch on the 22.5 XP, I'm not sure. But it definitely, there's definitely something different in the newest Pros that I would assume this is at least as good as that or better. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun with this thing. Do some cool stuff. I think it's going to be a really fun machine. I really enjoy it so far. In fact, I enjoy it more in the few miles that I've had it than anything I've had in the recent history. Lots of power, and it rides, like I said, crazy good. I can't wait to get it out in the dunes. Take it out to Silver Lake. I want to take it to like the Badlands and just some of those places. Get it out and stretch the legs a little bit. There's not much of a place around here that's worth running something this big. So we'll put her on the trailer and take it some places.